Toprak Razgatlioglu finished last in the Barcelona MotoGP test, 22nd on the grid the weekend before, 4.395 seconds off pole, a confession on record that he is doing the opposite of what Fabio Quartararo does on a soft tyre. Every number around him says the WSBK champion is drowning in MotoGP. And then his own team boss went on Speed Week and said something the timesheets never showed. He said Toprak's race pace data was on par with Quartararo. Same bike, same day. Two completely different stories about the same rider, and only one is being reported. So which one is true? And why is the paddock looking at a different number than the public is? This is not about a team boss being kind to his rider. Team bosses do that every week, and nobody cares. This matters because Toprak's MotoGP career is being judged in real time on a single column of numbers, the qualifying times. And that column is not what Pramac is actually looking at when they assess what they have on their hands. Yamaha has a credibility problem the size of a factory. The 2027 regulations reset is 6 months away, and Toprak has that long to convince everyone that the Barcelona timesheet was the lie, not the verdict. Let's start with the brutal half. Because it is brutal. 6 rounds in, Razgatlioglu sits 22nd in the championship with 4 points. His best result of the year is 13th at Le Mans, a circuit he had only previously seen on the MotoGP video game. At Jerez, the track where he clinched 2 of his 3 WSBK titles, he finished 19th. In Catalunya, another Toprak fortress in superbikes, he crashed in Q1 and started from 22nd on the grid, over 4 seconds off pole. That is not a slow rookie. That is a number that should not exist next to a 3-time world champion's name. Then came the admissions. 2 weeks ago, he told Italian media that Yamaha's struggles had him thinking about pulling into the pits mid-race. Days later, he told Moto.it that after studying Quartararo's data, he had realised he rides in the opposite way the Michelin tyre wants to be ridden. "I'm always asking for the grip at the exit," he said. "But with this Michelin tyre, you need to keep more corner speed and open the throttle slowly. That is not a small fix. That is a champion telling the world his muscle memory is sabotaging him every time the soft tyre goes on." And Danilo Petrucci called this exact problem back in February, when he warned that the Michelin tyres would force Toprak into the exact opposite riding style to what he had been doing for years in WSBK. So if the script writes itself from there, why is Borsoi telling a different one? Because while the timesheet was screaming, the data was whispering something else entirely. Gino Borsoi, the Pramac team principal, told Speedweek after the test that Toprak's race pace work on the medium tyre put him on par with Quartararo. Not within a few tenths. On par. Same compound, same conditions, same bike. And that comparison is heavier than it sounds, because Quartararo is 13th in the championship with 37 points, and the next best Yamaha is Alex Rins in 19th with 9. Borsoi is not saying Toprak matched a midfield Yamaha. He is saying Toprak matched the only Yamaha rider Pramac actually wants their man fighting. And on the day the rest of the grid was supposedly putting him to bed. And this is where it changes. Borsoi went further. He said Toprak had finally understood 2 races ago that he needs to learn from the other riders, especially Quartararo, and follow our advice. Read that carefully. That is a team principal publicly saying his rider was being stubborn until 2 rounds back. That is not a compliment. That is the cleanest possible signal that the Barcelona test was the first weekend Toprak rode the bike the way Pramac has been asking him to all season. And the question that follows is the one nobody at the timing screens thought to ask. How does a rider who finishes last on the timesheet match the lead Yamaha on race pace? You look at what the timesheet does not record. Rain killed the second session of the Barcelona test. The soft tyre time attack. The one part of the day where Toprak is openly admitting he still rides like a superbike rider. Never happened. The plus 1.2 seconds gap to Quartararo at the top of the page is the medium tyre work, frozen in place. before the part of the day that would have flattered him properly was even attempted. Borsoi put it plainly, "Track time is something you can't buy." Losing half a day wasn't good news for Toprak. That is a team boss telling the public what the timesheet refuses to, and the part of his riding that is still broken. It is one tyre, one compound, one specific instinct. His own crew chief, Alberto Giribuola, confirmed it to him directly. The moment the soft tyre goes on, Toprak's brain reverts to WSBK mode, asking for grip at the exit, picking up the bike too early, trying to drive out of the corner instead of carrying it through. Every other layer of the adaptation, corner entry, turning the bike, race pace consistency, has clicked. The soft tyre is the last door he has not opened, and once he opens it, the grid slot starts being where Quartararo qualifies. People thought this story was about a WSBK champion being exposed in MotoGP. It is really about a rider being judged on the one weekend Yamaha gave him a circuit he loves and a bike that could not exploit it. Petrucci was right about the riding style flip. He was wrong about what that flip would actually mean for Toprak's season. Toprak is not failing to adapt. He has adapted everywhere except one tyre, and his team boss is publicly putting him level with Quartararo on the compound that actually decides races. The bike, meanwhile, is where the real silence is. Borsoi was asked when an engine upgrade from Iwata might arrive. His answer was that he has no information about one. Yamaha is still trying to extract more power from a V4 it only switched to this year. That is the actual ceiling on Toprak's season. Not his hands, not his head. The engine bay in Iwata. And here is what makes the silence from Iwata louder. Yamaha has spent this season reshaping itself around Toprak. Quartararo is reportedly leaving for Honda. Motorsport.com broke the news in April that Ayogura is replacing Alex Rins at the factory team for 2027 and has reported that Pramac is now finalising a deal to bring a Moto2 rookie up next year. Izan Guevara is the name in the frame, though Senna Agius has also been linked. In every one of those scenarios, Toprak is the rider who stays. His own manager, Kenan Sofuoglu, said in March he was 99% sure of it. By next season, the Yamaha rider with the longest unbroken relationship to the project is the one who has been there for 1 year. Yamaha has built the future around him. They just have not built him a bike yet. So the question was never whether Toprak could ride a MotoGP bike. The Barcelona test, properly read, answered that one. The real question is whether Yamaha can build him one fast enough to make their commitment to him worth the paper it is written on. Do you think Borsoi's on par with Quartararo claim changes how you read Toprak's season? Or is the timesheet still the only thing that counts? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.